Hello everybody, Scribblooped here. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make an XBase cuff as well as how to make it 3D. This is a good starting point for beginner Kandi kids, as the components are used for a lot of larger projects. You will need around 200 beads, around 110 for the XBase cuff, and about 90 for the spikes on the cuff. This will differ depending on how big you make the cuff, but otherwise it should be around 200. You will also need elastic string. I am using 0.8mm cloth covered stretch cord, and as well as this, you also need scissors. Personally, I also use a binder clip when needed to prevent the beads from falling off of the string, and a yarn or craft needle, as it makes it easier to make the cuff. The step numbers will be in this corner, and the patterns will be in this corner. First, you want to get a long piece of string. Around the length of your arm span is more than enough. I'm going to tie my needle to one end of the string, and that will be the long end. Now, make a single with a pattern of 2 beads of one color and 1 bead of another. The color you use 1 bead of will become your connector color. I'll be using orange and pink, with pink as my connector color. Make sure that you keep this pattern around the single or just in a multiple of 3, or else the XBase will not form properly. Tie off your bracelet, having one short end and one long end. I am using a modified surgeon's knot for this, however a square knot, if you just do it a couple of times, will work properly. We can cut off the short end now, as we won't be needing it. Our string should be coming out of a connector bead, or for me, a pink bead. So I'll just string my string through here. Now, put 3 beads on the string in a pattern of orange, pink, orange, or just convert that to whatever colors you are using. Now, put the string through the next pink bead. It should look similar to this. A little triangle with the connector as the peak. We want a decent amount of tension in this, so that the triangles form, but not too much tension so that the cuff can stretch. Now, do this all the way around. If you can recall how many beads you put on the single, you should have as many points as multiples of 3. For example, I have 30 beads on this single, so I have 10 points. Go up into the first point we made. Your string should be coming out of your connector bead again. Put 3 beads onto your string in the same pattern. Orange, pink, orange. And put your string through the peak of the next point. You can see how the X shape is starting to form. If I do another one like this, you can actually see the X now. That is one X, and this is how X bases are measured in height. Go around the whole bracelet again, using about the same tension as you used on the last set of points. Go up into the first point we made. Your string should be coming out of one of your connector beads again. Now, let's go through our first point from this row. String through 2 orange beads on and go through the next pink bead. While it may not look like it's coming together, I promise you it is. Repeat this around the entire cuff. Don't pull too tight or the cuff won't stretch properly. Personally, I find this to be quite a common problem, so I just loosen before I tie off. Now, your top row should look quite similar to your bottom row. Now we need to tie off. So, we're going to tie off a little bit like this. Make a loop with one end with your string. And make sure not to put it through the bead like that. And then you just knot it as you would normally. Remember to do multiple ties, or else you might not have the most secure knot, especially with these types of knots. So I do that. like earlier, we cut off the short end or the loop end and keep the long end. Now we're done with our XBase cuff. If you want a taller XBase, then skip that last step of putting 2 beads on the top, and just keep doing 2 rows of points for every X tall you want the cuff to be. However, for simplicity, we're just tying off here so I can show you how to make the 3D part. At the moment, our string should be coming out of a connector bead. Now, let's string 5 beads on, in a pattern of 2 of our first color, 1 connector, and then another 2 of our first. So for me, it would be 2 oranges, 1 pink, and 1 orange. 2 orange. Go into the next pink bead like I did, and we should have a spike. It should just kind of look like a bigger version of the points we had while we were making the XBase. Now we need to go around the cuff again. Looks like I'm running out of string, so I will just tie some more on and then get back to it. Once we're done with that, go up into the first spike, our string coming out of our connector bead. String on 2 orange beads. And then go into the next pink bead on the bottom row, like this. It'll be in somewhat of a zigzag pattern, but your spikes will start forming. Like this. Your spike should look like this. So, let's keep doing this all the way around the cuff. last one. Now, let's go down our spike and into a connector bead. Now we tie off in the same way that we did on the last part of the XBase cuff. So, loop, and tie. Like that. And one more time. And now we're done. You now have a 3D XBase cuff. Both components, the XBase and the 3D part, are used as the basis for a lot of larger projects. For example, rotator cuffs. They use the 3D part for the bumpers and a regular XBase for the part, and it spins. And a modified version of XBase can be used to make 3D projects like this mushroom. If you can see the X's here, then that is also a modified version of XBase. I hope this tutorial helped, and if you have any thoughts, queries, and concerns, throw them into the comments below. Thanks for watching!